I'm glad. It all worked out in a good way.
Official thing.
It all worked out.
A couple times in Raz. I'm Jason. See you again.
Yep.
You the man.
Hope the interview wasn't as embarrassing as I thought it was.
Dude, that shit was amazing.
I haven't done any really.
Like over this way?
Yeah.
Posting his app.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's really close.
This is gonna be. So is it kind of free form that I can say whatever I want?
Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Cameron Zamat, and I'm the owner and founder of the Bike Library.
What is the Bike Library?
Well, that's a question that a lot of people have asked. Almost everybody asks that right away when they come to the shop, and I really like that because there's no one answer. It's a whole lot of things. We started the Bike Library in late 2023. For a while, it was dispersed bike rental. That became very unsustainable, as you can imagine. And so I was looking for a storefront. I had nothing, no money, no nothing. I was freshly laid off from my job. So I talked with this guy named Jude Denoyer from Centennial Campus. And he said, we have this gravel patch. Maybe you could drop a shipping container there.
Approximately 15 months ago is when the container endeavor really started, and that was really awesome to watch because Cam, working with NC State and a couple other agencies, just put together a Greenway shop, which was kind of unprecedented in my understanding.
When I heard about the Bike Library, it was intriguing. Biking by it when it first started out on the Greenway, I felt very proud, you know, almost like a mom. And when people would say things about it, when we would be around Raleigh and they would say, have you seen that place on the Greenway? And we'd go, yeah, that's our friend Cameron. So.
So, tell us about your experience with bikes.
Well, we come from a biking family, so it's no surprise really that you loved biking.
So when Cameron was a little kid, my dad got Cameron a bike for, I think it was Christmas, birthday, something. And up until that point, he had a little tiny red bike, I think smaller than the one that's in the shop right now. And this was a blue bike, performance bike shop, rigid mountain bike. And Cameron rode that thing everywhere. It was too big for him. That did not matter. And I remember being outside and it was cold and Cameron was just running laps around the cul-de-sac where we lived. So that's the DNA, the original DNA of the shop, I would imagine.
Bikes are my life, and it's crazy how it all started. It started very casually when Cameron and I had some rinky-dinky bikes. We started riding them around, went to Tampa, Florida, met really cool people while we were there, and immediately got inspired to ride better bikes and ride bikes for fun. And then moving to Raleigh, it was like the bike scene was just elevated. Everybody was on bikes here.
It's kind of what brought us together, I would say. Our first big outing was our junior year in college in 1993. I believe, was it your first time like legit camping? Yeah, his first time camping. And we just proceeded to just, you know, form a relationship with the woods together.
I don't think I touched a bike until about 2 years ago, maybe, a year and a half ago, when I first started showing up at the Bike Library. I was looking for like a healthy outlet, and I found a bike for cheap on Facebook and then started riding it, and the rest was kind of history.
I do not have like the best reputation with getting struck by cars, and so I was sort of desperate to find friends on bicycles.
I used to be a rock climber in high school, and bikes were a way for me to add a cardio into my schedule. My parents aren't cyclists. I don't come from a family of cyclists. I got a bunch of hand-me-down jerseys from people locally as a high school student who was just begging my parents to come take me to races, and I loved it.
I've been kind of road shy since a bike accident in college involving a vehicle. So I've only was like looking to be reintroduced to the road with groups of people, and the bike library really helped to like gain a lot of confidence there. December 24th, 2024 was my first time back on a bike, and it was the Espresso Express, our Christmas Eve EE, and as we were biking, I was literally like crying because I was so happy to be back out on a bike.
I had to borrow my friend Sarah's bike because I didn't have a bike at the time, and she's a bit taller than me, so the bike was too big for me, and I just kind of like head first dived deep into my first EE, and I just was chugging along with you guys. There were a lot of like stoplights on that ride, and so we kept stopping, and everyone knows that if you're on a bike that's too big for you and you can't like touch the ground, the chances of you falling are very high. And so I took a tumble on my first ride, but I'm still here.
My dad many years ago had a bike he bought me, but that Christmas gift soon turned into his bike, and then I never rode again. So then coming out into Raleigh, being fed up with having to drive everywhere, it just, all these things kind of clicked together. Like, wait a second, there's people who bike in this city. Wait, there's people who actually care about biking. And wait, I can actually get around reliably, have a means to exercise and be athletic and also meet new people.
I am a runner, still a runner, was a runner. Not really sure what to do with running, and then I discovered wheels are great. Bought a bike. Thought it was great, connected with the community, lost my job, got way more connected with the community, thought bikes were really, really freaking cool.
For baseline, I would say anything that I do within the belt line, I do by bike, and even a bit beyond that. One of the things was really a highlight for me, sort of a life highlight for me, is last summer I rode my bike across the United States from Washington, D.C. to Astoria, Oregon. And so part of it is, if you told me you have 6 weeks to do whatever you want or 8 weeks to do whatever you want, somehow it would involve spending a lot of time on a bicycle.
Biking is one of those things that will leave you sweaty but satisfied in the best possible way. Because it's not just exercise, it's transport. And it's transport not just in a physical sense, but in a mental sense. When you move through the world on two wheels, you're doing it in a far, far better way than you are in the confines of a giant metal box that is a car.
After living in Copenhagen for a couple of months, I saw just like the amount of use and the opportunities that can present themselves when you have a bike that can carry cargo. Also having 2 young kids and being able to get them around town without a car has been just an amazing thing, and the amount of people I've met just by having a cargo bike, having this big interesting cargo bike, has been pretty awesome.
Biking has become really important to me as an aspect of sustainability because it's something that is so personal. It's something that I can implement in my life, I can convince other people to implement in their life, and it feels very approachable and very powerful in a way that I have control over.
You are alive. One sec. Can we shift the mic a little bit towards you?
Yeah.
What's your connection with the bike library?
My involvement with the project is very much behind the scenes. I feel like I am supporting all of the events that are happening as far as like continuing to facilitate the rides that we lead. So the Espresso Express, our adventure series rides, all the things, making sure those are flowing and active.
I have a lot of friends who are part of it. The containers near my house
and I would run all the time. I was like, oh my gosh, who is this? What is this random business who is pumping out all these bikes? And I was like, I gotta figure it out.
You know, one of the things about our day is that our world is so fractured that we live, so many people just live on their screens and so on, and the bicycle is a way to interact with nature and also interact with one another.
To see the community that you've built, and every time we come up here, we're embraced by all of your friends and all of the good people, and I am always so surprised and so I don't know, can I say in love with? We want to move up here because the people are so great.
My story with the bike library is kind of funny because I had a class with Dr. Bassett at NC State, and Cameron had did a presentation explaining all about the bike library. But like most students, I just wanted to get through the class because there was so many things going on, but being introduced to the world of biking was something that I thought was really fascinating.
We've gotten involved helping Cameron do a series of adventure-based events around Lake Raleigh, working with the folks on Centennial Campus to get more folks out biking and paddling and running events all around the lake to just try and get more folks outside doing new things. Roughly we'll start stirring breakfast at 8 and we'll be out of there by 10.
Woo!
You're that bad.
There's a lot of community that comes out of this shared experience, and it's really almost the only hobby I know that can happen, and it can happen at scale.
For Espresso Express, we all meet up. Some people are quiet, some people are a little more talkative. And then we make it to the coffee shop, we all get our coffees, and suddenly it's euphoric. It's the sun rises, the caffeine is hitting, the endorphins are hitting, you're feeling the fresh air. It's like in that moment we are best friends. We are horse lords riding through the streets of Raleigh.
All right, see if I can act natural. So this will be the seating area. There will be 4 tables there. There will be a large structure, a bench sitting right here. Behind this bench, we're going to have a lot of storage area, and that will be for the bike shop, which is going to sit right here. And this is sort of the crux of... There was one particular night after a very cold day of working at the shop. The sun had set, and Aaron and I were sitting on the berm by the shop, and he said, when you're ready to jump in 2 feet first, I will be ready to jump in with you. And that kind of made me take a step back and realize that I hadn't been taking it seriously enough, and I didn't see it as a viable thing that I could actually go and do and really take seriously. We had an Espresso Express. We came to Homebody Yoga just next door. Emily shared her story about how she started her business and how she built out her storefront with pretty much just a dream and some commitment. And I said, maybe I can do that too. Over the past 3-4 months, everything has happened.
Oak City Customs so graciously let us use their property, their tools, their lumber. So that's really it wouldn't have happened without them. The log that is adjacent to the bike shop counter was a 11-foot half pine log when I saw it. We brought it back and used 8 people to carry it out of my truck. It was put in there with a forklift, so I knew how heavy it was, and we picked it up and then we carried it over to the shop.
What's cool about the bike library is it's sort of been built by many people. We all have varying levels of work we have put in.
I'm an architect. I sketch, I draw all day, and just being able to throw something together and being able to help you out was, honestly really fulfilling to me.
I also own a business, a small business local to Raleigh called Currently Apparel, and so I've made some fun merch coming up for the bike library that you can purchase here.
I run a beverage company called Jabin. It's a Persian beverage that we make, and yeah, it's super good after bike rides, and you guys go on a lot of bike rides, so it was a very natural mesh. I grew up riding mostly in Cary actually, and the bike library is a good way for me to introduce the product to a lot of people that live in downtown, work in downtown, and we've been expanding beyond the region, but the bike library and a lot of the organizations downtown kind of let us share the product with a lot of cool people here in town. So.
I was literally laying in my bed at like 9 in the morning. My dad, love him to death, was just spitballing things to me because I was unemployed at the time. And he was just like, hey, there's this bike place opening. He sent that to me and I'm like, okay, the bike library. And I kind of put my phone down. I'm like, turn the phone back over. I'm like, this seems familiar. And then I applied 2 hours later.
I don't really know how to describe that period other than just in a constant state of confusion. You have to just trust that the reason you got laid off was just happens, and other people go through it, and eventually things will work out. The day after, I ended up coming in here and just started painting walls.
Yeah, we just opened up our own shop here in Raleigh. We're just all about being involved in the community, helping people do awesome stuff and serve the best coffee ever. What I wanted Steampunks to be is just a way for people in the coffee industry to connect and be able to work together to build each other up and launch each other to those next levels. So this is exactly how I hoped Steampunks would work.
I contributed an environmental graphic mural of sorts. We talked about what the purpose should be, which is to welcome them into the shop and then point them in the direction of the coffee, and also make it clear that the theme is a bike shop. So it has text that talks about where the coffee is, it points towards the coffee, and the bike is leading the way.
I sort of thought, okay, what can I offer the bike library right now? And Cameron mentioned that he wanted to start a coffee portion of the business. I mean, I've worked in coffee for a few years at this point, and I sort of just threw out there to him, like, if you ever want someone to run your coffee program for you, like, let's talk.
We built this place like truly from the ground up with our own hands, and now we are about to open the next bike shop in Raleigh and a new coffee shop as well, and it feels pretty cool. So there's this shop opening up that you're sitting in right now that you helped build. What are you most excited about for the future of this and how it's going to affect Raleigh?
A year later, now we're inside the actual brick and mortar here at the platform, and it's a massive deal.
Going from just one container, and then now you have like 2 containers full of bikes ready for everybody, and then now just seeing a storefront, the evolution's really cool.
Now that we have a foothold in a brick and mortar space, we've got essentially the foundational block that can serve as a physical entrance for the community of itself. for one example with my students, I would be able to take them outside of the classrooms, and my hope, my dream is that I can therefore not only teach them what I teach them, but get them to have a larger sense of community in themselves, get them out and about in that community.
I mean, I'm excited for more people just to have a resource for learning about how to get on bikes and how to traverse this city in something that is not a car.
Big picture, I'm excited to be on the forefront of this bike community and how it's growing in Raleigh right now. People come in and they learn about how biking can be important in their life, and I think that's really powerful.
Frankly, to me, the bike library is going to be that nexus.
I see the bike library as not just being a business, but as being part of a movement.
Cultural change can't start at the top, right? It has to start with individual people, and you cannot change more than one person's heart or mind at a time. So we're going person by person and changing people's hearts and minds. I'm trying to create a gravitational well of community so deep that people from all over are just brought into it, and those same people are going to change and go, man, maybe I can navigate Raleigh without a car. You can't go up to a 35-year-old mom and say, you can bike around the city. She won't believe you. But if there's a way to get into her brain and make her believe that she can do it and show her other people that have done it, that's how we do it. And I want to do it for her, and I want to do it for hundreds of thousands of other people.
People are not very open to always kind of by default changing, whether it's from transportation or food and beverage. It takes a lot of time because you have to go to these places, but you also make that connection, right? And I have people that message me, and now we're part of their race training routine. We're part of their recovery. People that aren't Iranian, they're not from the Middle East. They're just people that live in North Carolina or grew up here, and now they're exposed to something so different, and they see the benefits, right? And that's what I think the bike library is trying to do with the cycling initiatives, kind of encouraging that it's possible to rely on other means of transportation besides cars.
In places like the Netherlands, bicycling is just a natural thing that you would be almost weird if you didn't bike. Here in the United States, it's kind of the other way around, and trying to look at why that is, and maybe what are the things that we could do to try to change that.
I'm all about street closures. Like, let's put public spaces back to people. We already have the infrastructure. We have the bus depot. We have the new BRT line. We have Red Hat Amphitheater going on down the street. There's so much potential there, and to muddle it up with cars, I think, is a missed opportunity. Let's show Raleigh that we can do it.
The bike library is, one, a community thing, and two, I think an advocacy arm for alternative transportation.
My ultimate goal with bikes is to show people, but also specifically women, that you can ride your bikes anywhere, you can do anything you want on your bike, and it is so easy, it's so accessible. So that's my goal with bikes now. It's transitioned from a casual fun recreation to a mission to just get more people, more women on bikes.
It is so exciting to me, I mean, I feel like in the engineering and the bike industry, there are women, but it's more of a male-dominated field. So, it's fun to go into a place like an engineering firm or like a bike shop and, see someone who kind of resembles you and is familiar to you, and it makes you more comfortable. So I hope that is what I can do for other girls and women. They might be able to level with and be like, okay, if they can do it, maybe so can I.
The League of American Bicyclists says the world is better for everyone when people bike, that it's a way to improve your own life, your own health, and also just to make life better for everyone. And I think it's really a great antidote to some of the fracturing that's happened in our world today.
It's wonderful that you and Lauren are part of this wonderful, dynamic, growing group who are so diverse, but they have so much in common on bicycles.
It's hard to put into words how important it is to be surrounded by people. I think we tend to put a lot of emphasis on independence like this day and age, and I think we put a lot less on, on community and how important it is that I have your back and you have mine.
Community here at the bike library is one that's for everybody. Whether it's the first time that you've ridden a bike since you learned how to ride a bike, pedaling around your neighborhood as a child, or whether you're a triathlete or Ironman, there's a place for you here.
The shop is going to continue to grow. This is not our final form. We're just going to keep growing and keep changing and doing our thing, and we'll see where it ends up.
What is the question so I can at least mentally prepare?